In Part E, we're asked to find the minimum acceleration. So minimum acceleration, we have to figure out the derivative of acceleration. And we can figure out our minimum there, or actually, I guess we don't have to go that far if we've got our calculator. We can look at the graph of the acceleration and just find its minimum on that interval. So let's go ahead and take a look. We've got, we've got our graph here, but we don't want to look at the graph of the velocity. We want to look at the graph of the acceleration. So I'm going to go over here and hit enter on the equal sign. So when I go to graph, this is not going to show up to kind of confuse us. We just want to look at our velocity. And for that, we can just do the derivative. We're going to do that technique we talked about earlier, math 8. We're doing the derivative in terms of x of y sub 1. And we're doing that in terms of x. Now, remember how we stored something for x? It doesn't take that into account in here, in the y equals. It's just going to graph it. So we can graph this, and this is going to be our acceleration graph. Still going.
There's just one in there.
Yeah, just one. All right, so once it finishes, oh, there we go. We want to find the minimum acceleration on this interval. So it looks like, okay, it's going up, coming down, way down below our window, and then going up way past our window. So our minimum is happening down here somewhere. We don't have to even get it in our window to find it. We can just go ahead and calculate the minimum. So we're going to do second trace, and minimum is option number 3. So it's asking for a left bound. I'm just going to use like these values. I know 1 and 4 are to the left of that minimum. It happens somewhere in between there. So my left bound, I'm going to use 1. Right bound, I'm going to use 4. And those, I mean, you could use other numbers, but those are just the ones that made sense for me on that one. So I'm going to hit enter one more time. There we go. And we get a minimum at 3.367 approximately, negative 507.9285. So a little bit. All right, that's one last room. Wow. Still going. Well, the key is this part right here. So our minimum is actually the minimum y value. All right, so you're not going to give the answer 3.367 unless it's asking at what x value or what time, in this case, does it happen. The actual minimum is negative 507.929.